Hey everybody, this is Chris with Chris and Rob Game Room, and that's Rob, the other half of it, and then Ben Scott, and Joe will be along shortly. He's taking care of some personal stuff real quick. How's everyone doing?
Fine. This wasn't as dry as I thought it would be.
I did it as dry as I could.
It was pretty dry.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta drink some water. How dry it was.
He is indeed drinking Canada Dry in Canada. All right. Robert, you want to let everyone know that we're live? Because I don't believe anyone is watching.
Oh my god.
I know.
Yes,
We were too busy looking up Fred Durst pictures because that's what you're going to go as for the 90s party.
Yep. Hopefully.
All right.
One moment, please.
All right. So this week I guess I'll just wait for people to get in here, but this is going to be like the pre-show thing. The after pre-show thing. Oh, there's 3 people watching. It's probably all 3 of us.
I'm watching.
Yeah, I'm watching too. Robert's probably watching.
We're on a slight delay.
Only slight.
Switch.
So since people are going to be watching this on the replay, this week we're going to be talking about the top 8 and how we got to that top 8 and our matches, possible future plans. We've kind of hit on that a little. Oh, there's 4 people watching now. All right. So
it's just me 4 times.
At least you're consistent.
That's how much I like you, Chris. How much I love the show.
Hold on, guys. Legion is on. I'll be back.
I got that recorded, bro.
Dude, it's a really good show.
See, Ben, you were lying. Laurier's watching too. It wasn't 4 of you.
Yay, Laurier.
All right.
That was sincere. That was on my phone.
This sounded like, oh God, Laurier.
Oh, dear.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Laurier. I'm glad that you like the dad jokes. It's all I got. So I'll just talk about my game. I had a match against someone that had a possibility of getting into the top 8. TJ. And TJ had to beat me 2-0 to TJ Bozilla. Or I should just say TJ. TJ had to beat me 2-0 to really have a chance. And I won 1 game, and so I played spoiler on him, and he ended up 10. If he would have beat me, he would have been fighting with Zach for the top 8.
So you took a game off him. What game did you take off him?
The second game.
That's tough. That's kind of like one of the interesting things about this tournament,
Yeah.
the way you rank it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what's funny is he's literally played all the YouTubers except for DM Armada.
TJ's a super good player.
Yeah.
I played him in a final over WTO in the UK.
Yeah, he's really good.
Current Scottish #1, I think.
Do you think he has a good chance of winning the championship over in Europe?
Okay, I don't know if he's going. If he's going, he does. Yeah.
He is definitely going.
Okay, then yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's really like as we've seen in this tournament, like it depends not only on your team, it depends on dice rolls and your matchups and whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, everyone was just looking at the top of my head this whole time.
I was just, All right. Oh. Long shot. Oh. Yeah, TJ is a good dude, and I was talking to him afterwards, and I was like, man, I'm really sorry. I think I ruined your chances of being in the top 8. He's like, hey, man, you didn't just give me a free win, so that's all you can ask for. And I was like, yeah. I was aiming to take a game as much as I could.
You're aiming to be a jerk. I see.
Yeah. I was aiming to win the match, and I didn't quite do that. Yeah, I mean,
You
yeah.
weren't too far. So where did you? Yeah, because you weren't too far off either, right? You had to try. I mean, not that anyone wouldn't try, but no.
No, I ended the tournament 1-4.
Same as me.
I ended slightly ahead of you because of the way the last matches went and the power of rankings fluctuated.
Fair enough.
At certain points of the tournament, you were like 1 to 2 spots ahead of me, and then the last day really kind of pushed your ranking down, and I was like, yes.
Number one goal.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only goal I had. It was end up before you. How did your match go, Ben?
Pretty terribly. As all my matchups have gone, pretty much. It was I won the first game. I was playing Jared,
Mm-hmm.
and he's doing the really cool like Rasni combo with the gear, and you flip them over,
Oh, I'm very familiar with that.
which is really strong, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I was doing a super good job of keeping his Rasni not in the field, and like I was winning. I won the first game, and then the second game, I can't remember what happened. I think he did something good, and then the third game really pissed me off, if I'm allowed to say that.
One in the swear jar.
Sorry, I'll eat a hot pepper, whatever. But yeah, so basically, I kept using. What was I doing? Storm. I was using Storm to roll out his Rasni, right? So it wouldn't be in the field at the start of my turn to clear my field. And I did it at the end of my turn, and then on his turn he drew 3 dice out of his bag, and then he put everything back in his bag, and he had like a 1 in 10 chance of pulling it. I was super mad, and he won. That's a short of it.
Yeah.
I was salty about the dice pulls.
It wasn't Laurier scale like pulling exactly what he needs, though, was it?
I feel like Laurier doesn't necessarily pull what he needs. He just rolls exactly what he needs all the time. Actually, to be fair to Jared, I was doing God rolls in whatever game I won. I think maybe it was the second game. Now that I think about it, I might have lost the first, and then second I had God rolls, and then third he had God pulls in one round. So what are you gonna do?
What up, Matt?
Oh man. Hello everybody. Yeah. Ryan, Matt.
Yeah, like when you're in the middle of a match, you're like, man, I'm getting everything I want, everything I need, and then you're like,
I know, I was feeling so good about it.
This is not gonna last. It starts getting into your head.
That's exactly how I feel every time I play. If you see me having good rolls, that's probably as good as it's gonna get, and then after that, it's over.
That never happens. So like, I never roll well.
Oh,
so when it does, I'm just like, yes.
That's awesome.
Robert, I think this tournament is the most I've seen you roll well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like legit.
And that's kind of sad because I didn't do that well. I mean, I went 3-2, but
yeah, I mean, you were above 500. That's might as well have been a draft event for you.
True. But draft events, I do good.
You come in second when you should have come in first, but yeah.
So my games were pretty good. I thought they were good games. I thought I was rolling very well. I think the Green Devil Mask really helped me out in my matches. I think that was the key to victory was Green Devil Mask. And I actually took the advice of buying Madam Mask, and she didn't roll for me ever. So that was horrible. So I'll never buy her again.
Well, you forced Brian to counter what you did because he was trying to avoid. He was trying to get things out of. Yeah, he was trying to avoid that Madam Mask, and it worked out good for you. Like my match against TJ, he made a comment to me as we're playing it. He's like, "Yeah, I watched your video with me and Robert, and I know what you're gonna do." I was like, "All right, this is probably gonna be pretty quick then." I think turn 1 or turn 2, my first turn or for second turn, I bought Madam Mask, could not roll her, but I got her out on the second time, and that was on his KO or Winfielded copy team. Oh, that's such a brutal team.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I love that team. I just don't love playing against it.
So what was he using for copying?
Absorbing Man.
Okay.
Um,
The when fielded copy, that one. I thought you were talking about like a mimic / doppelganger team.
no. The Absorbing
that's
Man's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Robert, in your guys' match, you guys actually played it wrong. He should have captured your blob and not given it back.
Really?
Yeah.
The blob just keeps stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Absorbing Man would keep, because he copies Blob's thing until Absorbing Man leaves the field. You're screwed.
So you're saying I should have lost?
I mean, you did lose. You lost that game. Yeah, you lost that game.
All right, so that worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Typical me.
Terrible rolls worked its way out.
That uncommon blob is actually a pretty interesting card, right?
I like that card.
I think it's got completely overlooked because of the rare, which is useful in certain situations, but the uncommon is equally as good in other situations, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that it kind of worked against me because it's like, okay, I captured his one Scarlet Witch. Well, Scarlet Witch is so cheap, he just bought another one. And got it out. So
And you're paying 4
I'm paying 4
energy to capture 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's deficient, but if it helps you win the game, it's fine. But if you just
fix it, it's fine as well.
yeah,
Or a Hulk, yeah.
it's mighty fine at that point.
I think the thing is though, the blob is like one of the only good things that's really good against defending against Green Devil Mask.
Yeah.
So that's probably where it has the edge.
Yeah. And the other thing, man, Green Devil Mask, it has some interesting like, have you played against the uncommon Green Devil Mask, Ben?
There's an uncommon?
Yeah,
there are other rarities.
The uncommon, when you field a character that's when your opponent fields a character higher level than one of your any one of your characters, you get to prep 3 dice. I played against someone in a draft. We did a draft this past weekend.
Let me just look at that card.
I had Tabaxi Rogue out in the field, and he had 2 traps. He did 6 damage to himself on my turn.
Because of the mask. Self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah. And he was like,
okay, that's like a...
That's a troll. That's what it is.
But...
That's pretty awesome. Let me see if I have it here.
I mean, it's good for... Because you get to prep it for your next turn.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely don't leave home without a Green Devil. Because if you have a sidekick in the field and they field anything, you're going to be able to prep 3 dice. It's just you're paying that much.
If you only have a sidekick.
Well, no, it's if you have a sidekick and they field anything beyond a sidekick.
If you have any, because if
So that's an interesting kind of ramp tool.
I guess if you have really a cheap team.
I mean, it doesn't even matter. You just have a sidekick in the field, and whatever they field, you're ramping 3 if it's out in the field.
That seems like a lot of work to just prep 3 dice.
Yeah, it's better off going with the common, but still.
How much is it? It's still 4 costs, right?
Yeah.
Joe, whenever you want to jump in, you can jump in. By the way, we're in the
rare one's actually not bad either.
The rare one's terrible.
No, it's all right.
What does it do?
3 or more of your character dice are KO'd during an opponent's turn. Return all character dice KO'd this turn to your field zone level 3.
That's not bad.
Well, against Hellfire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or
that's a specific instance, though.
Or an aggro team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's during your opponent's turn.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. You can't really control it that much.
If you have a way of triggering some kind of board field on your opponent's turn, board clear.
Was there force? You could force attack, but you can only do it once per turn.
Just regular Green Devil Mask.
Yeah,
That's
common green. That's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm really not convinced by Green Devil Mask.
Yeah,
it's good for dealing against psychics and big psychic teams. I mean, the time it's just a 50-50 chance.
That's part of the meta right now, though, is sidekick teams. Somewhat.
I mean, it is, yeah, but there are other ways of dealing with it.
True.
It worked.
And it works. It can work, but it can also fail miserably.
True.
Yeah. And if they have Super and Malekith, that's a way to work around it too. So
you just have to be prepared to play against it,
yeah.
And work out how your team, because you can still do a lot of damage with just 3 characters in the field.
You can win a game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
all right, let's talk about top 8. Everyone's
Top 8.
probably here to talk about top 8.
Hooray!
The top 8. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I was going to say something mean about top 8.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Just shoot that venom. Everyone needs to hear it. 2016 European champion.
Not European, just national UK.
National UK. Oh, so you didn't quite get there.
Close enough.
Close enough. All right, yeah.
I was a Saturday champion. I won Saturday. Is that a thing?
It's because you got Green Devil Mask and you were the last one to pick.
Yeah, I was third. They passed the Green Devil Mask to me.
You're the champion of our hearts.
Yay.
Not
That's all
my
I
heart.
wanted.
Not my heart.
Only for this year, though.
Yeah.
For this week.
Until next stream.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I've already given the top 8 who they're playing. And that chat was kind of weird. I didn't think it was going to go as it did in that chat discussion. It was almost top 8 trolled chat in a way. But no, I'm not going to talk about what they said in there. I'm just going to say it was a little bit trollish in there, but it was funny.
Oh. Well, all right.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah.
Dude, you can't tease the viewers like that.
Well, I'm
They're
sorry.
probably all top 8 anyways.
Yeah.
Stupid top 8. No one likes the name.
All right, so let's all complain about how we missed it and what happened with us. No.
Let's not talk about any of the good teams. Yeah, definitely bad rolls.
Bad rolls did me in.
All right, okay. Can I have? It's not really beef. It's just. Did you guys watch Steven and James's match?
Yeah.
I did not.
The intro bit where Steven was just like, "Oh yeah, James, your teams are the coolest." The whole tournament.
Did not see that.
Yeah.
Which is Steven just likes winning, which is fine. And James' teams are super good and strong, but they're not cool. The fact that they're cool.
They're not cool.
They're not cool. Is that the hashtag of everyone that didn't make it? Hashtag your team's not cool.
Yeah. Hashtag not salty. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
the top seed, which is not surprising, is James Bloor. He won every single one of his matches. Period.
Wow.
He's got some kind of cool team.
Kind of.
That in the industry, sir, was almost a perfect segment. Oh man,
I think actually talking about James's teams. Steven did say something really valid about the teams and why. So he explained why he thought they were cool, and the reason he thought they were cool was because they had lots and lots of win cons on all of them, and the fact that James was able to spread so many win cons across 2 different teams, and they were still viable and ran really well, is really strong, and probably why he's top seed.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of their matches, either recorded or live, of his and Zach's, and man, when he wants to play bully Dice Masters, he can bully you. If he wants to play strategic, sit back and wait for the perfect time to strike, he can do that with either one of his teams.
I think the biggest revelation has been that the Gold Dragon and Ring of Winter, and just how well he's got that to work.
I have that, and that's one of my favorite card combinations to play, and I just was thinking to myself, nah, people are going to be able to stop that. Nope. It's so good.
Well, he's got it down to a real kind of
Science,
yeah. I was trying to think of a less cliched word, but yeah.
Weird science.
Word the cliche here. Come on. It fits.
Down to a dragon.
Shay.
Yeah.
And so James is going to be playing Zach. The whole entire week when matches were going on, Zach was bouncing from in by 2 places to out by 2 places and finally in at the last spot. it was really nutty to watch and see how the rankings worked out.
Well, Zach only was 3-2, right? In matches, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was 3-2. He was
but
one
then
of
he lost the 2 matches against the 2 ranked highest players, right?
Yeah.
Stephen and James, so
yeah,
that's tough for him to have played those 2 last.
yeah, it was really rough for him. And so they're going to be putting out their schedule when they're going to be playing. We're going to try to comment on it if it's not too crazy late, because James is the only European that made the top 8.
Oh,
so
all the way at the top.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The not so cool team. And then for a second, our next match on the ranking, it's going to be Laurier versus Nick Willay.
Well, are they the? Sorry, going back to the James and Zach, they're the team. They've already played each other, right? Have anyone else in the top 8 already played that matchup?
I don't think they've played already.
That's the only match they played in the knockout.
They played in the Swiss rounds. Yeah,
Swiss. Yeah,
I think they're the only ones that have played.
So that'll be interesting to see how Zach can kind of what Zach's thought of to kind of play against James.
Yeah, I mean,
and if he can do anything to stop what happened.
Did you see his him in Shadow play?
Yeah, that was a super good game as well.
That was so nutty. He couldn't get things to roll for 5 turns.
Because he had lethal a couple of times with the. Yeah, it's like the first misplay that Patrick I've seen Patrick mess up when he didn't save bolts, and Zach had one turn where he could have done it where Patrick forgot to save bolts for whatever reason.
Yeah,
and he just did not roll it whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's the problem with that. The fix it with the Jarvis, right? It's like a very particular combo you have to get to go off, and if it doesn't go off, there's not a lot of versatility in that team.
Yeah. I mean, he did really well in the tournament with that team. It's just, the first 3 weeks he did really well with it and was just going to town. It's just the last 2 against James and then Shadow, it was just like they were not taking any fools on that particular thing. And then his Captain America team, that one's good. It's just
a bit slow.
Yeah, it's a little bit too slow, and it's kind of like you have to get Fist and you have to get a mask. If you don't get those 2, you can't do the combo.
Yeah, because against... Sorry.
Is it is it that Captain America team like Joe's?
Yeah.
Captain Kim? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because even in the game that Zach played against Patrick, with the Captain America team, in one turn he did 10 damage with that cap.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next turn he wasn't set up to do 10 damage again, and that's kind of what you need. You need the kind of consistency of damage.
Well, Patrick cleared his field, so he couldn't do the block.
Yeah.
And he couldn't bump his captain up, and so he'd get his captain over to the use pile.
With the kind of cold, yeah.
So it was just kind of wasted.
It's because Shadow Melt's super good.
Yeah.
He has some cool teams. Talking about cool teams.
Chris, Reg says that your team costs $193.20.
It does.
Jeez.
I probably have the most. Yeah. I also didn't pay hardly anything for the teams because I pulled almost every single.
You can't buy wins, huh?
Let's play right now, Robert. Let's play right now with that team.
Let's do it.
All right, let's set
I
up.
already put all my stuff away. Hold on.
Oh.
Sorry, yeah, we were saying about the other matchup. So who's Nick playing?
Laurier.
Oh yeah, Laurier.
Gandalf of the Great North.
Yeah.
Gandalf of the Great North.
That game.
Not pass.
That game, he was rolling those actions like mad.
And Scarlet Witch was out, and you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It was super nuts. He had to use Asurek twice out of 5 turns.
Yeah, and then he got it as well, right? That's
Yeah.
Let him down. But I mean, that's what you get where you have that kind of consistency. I mean, you might get. It's always kind of a bit weird to say that you got unlucky, and there's a dice game, so you do get unlucky. But if you haven't planned well, and you roll amazingly, you're still not going to win. And if you plan amazingly and roll badly, there's still a good chance you will win.
I'm just gonna blame it on the dice rolls for me. That's
sure.
Blame it on the rain.
Oh yeah, no, everyone can blame it on dice rolls. Don't get me wrong. if I do, I feel like I'm. It's just me being salty rather than the actuality of like dice rolling being bad.
I just whenever I see you roll bad, you just throw in a lot of sure.
Yep. Adapt. You have to adapt. You have to have the ways in your team to get over that, and that's what the Acerac's there for, right?
Yeah. It's just, at least it's not causing you to waste all of your energy to try to get it on the face, so you're not tempted to like not screw up and Acerac or what you call it, Parallax.
Not like the pit, yeah.
Parallax can make you lose a game because you can't roll it, and you just think that you don't need to buy anything else when you do. You have other routes to go.
Yep.
And then the third matchup between the number 2 seed in our tournament and the number 7 seed is Stephen Kukas. I always miscook us. And then Matthew Jourdain.
Yeah, that's a good game as well.
What are we calling Matthew? Robert? Saruman?
I was like, wait, what do we? Yep.
Because if Laurier's Gandalf of the Great North, there's got to be a good and an evil, and it makes sense they work together.
Yep.
The thing with that kind of matchup though is, I want it'd be interesting to see how Steven can cope with, because both Matt's teams are kind of like really combo big, hit you quite quickly. You're not expecting it to come up that quick.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven kind of has like not a slow build up, but he has a kind of very methodical kind of way of playing.
Yeah.
And Matt's kind of running some really interesting teams, so it'll be interesting to see if Steven can deal with that kind of unexpected.
It all depends on the matchups, because I think Steven each one of his team is can fare well against either one of Matt's teams, but he has to get those certain matchups.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, it's going to be hard, and that goes for Matt too, because it's not a slam dunk for Matt or a slam dunk for Steven, because that's going to come down to matchups on that one. It's not someone one of those two has just a ridiculously good team. They have really good teams, but they don't have. It's going to shut you down, and you can't do anything about it. Like some of the teams we've seen in the tournament, where person hasn't lost with that team yet, but yeah, because that sidekick team that Matthew has is explosive. And
it's same with the dragon team he's got. I mean, those are some big dudes.
Yeah, that's Bully Dice Masters right there. Is that Gold Dragon?
And I mean, Matt has that Thanos common, which wipes all villains, which is very not good for Steven.
Yeah, but that's kind of an expensive card, though. And which team is it on?
The Dragons. But I mean, you have Ring of Winter, right?
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how that Dragon team, it looks very strong.
Yeah. I mean, there's
So strong.
two people in the top 8 that ran it, and there's only 2 people that ran it in the tournament. So both people made the top 8. So,
although I will say Matt's team is cooler than James's team.
Is it just because of Thanos, or is it just because you just like Matt a little bit more right now?
No, it's because he had dragon. You can't have Ring of Winter and have one dragon. Come on, that's just ridiculous.
That's not true Ring of Winter play.
No.
That's not top level play. Everyone knows that.
That's more like ankle bracelet of Winter.
Oh, we got our 4th team member.
He is here.
What up, Joe?
What's going on?
So you played an exhibition match against Zane. I know we're kind of getting off topic. How did you guys end in a 1-1 tie because you couldn't get the last game in? Joe?
It was basically that. So we had one game that was awesome because my morph team, and that was a lot of fun. And then I chose to stick with my Captain America team, and it did all right, but it didn't finish the game out.
Yeah, it is the Checkers crew here. Yeah. All right, so we're just talking about top 8. I know you were watching before. We just talked about Matt versus Steven, how it's going to come down to matchups on that one. And I don't think either one of them has a real advantage over the other one, but if the matchups goes how one of them wants, it's going to be rough. So, and then
right, because in all my games, I never felt like me choosing teams first or second was really going to matter. But for some of these teams, it really does. Like,
yeah,
that's probably just because I built my teams really badly. But, so it's like, gonna get whooped either way. It doesn't really matter. But some of these guys, right? Like that Thanos really kills that one Stevens team.
yeah.
The villain control deck. It'd be interesting to see if that Thanos can actually make it onto the meta. His villains are super good right now.
Is he a what's how expensive is he? Is it 6 or 7?
But at least you're getting the stats off it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Mimic and Ring of Winter, if you're running a Dragon team, Thanos on that team would not be terrible. And then
it makes it 6, right? Yeah.
And then you could just ramp your brains out to get exactly what you need. So,
yeah.
And then you could turn the Mimic into a Gold Dragon stats, and
well, I think that's kind of the vital thing about the Ring of Winter, especially. Like, you don't want to just have the Ring of Winter just for the Gold Dragon. You need something alongside it that makes it worthwhile. So James has the Fix It, I think was the initial plan, and then it's kind of flipped where Gold Dragon is the first plan now, and Fix It's kind of like a backup. And Matt's got the same where he's got a lot of dragons, but also if he needs to change gears, he can go for a Thanos, and Ring of Winter helps him with that as well as dragons.
Yeah, having utility like that is just so key.
Yep.
And then the final matchup is going to be number 3 rank Patrick Shadowmeld Barley versus Christopher Clubb.
Yeah, I'm actually really kind of. Chris is a pretty good player, but that Owlman's doing a lot better than I thought it would. That Owlman's like Chris is running that team.
Owlman is super good.
Making the Owlman a lot like. It made me realize how good that Owlman is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's meta breaking, but it gives you an alternate win plan that is super good.
That's exactly the thing, right? It's because villain control is very kind of, I'm gonna sit here, stop you from doing everything, and then steadily ping away with Norman Osborn. But that Owlman can make it so, you're not fielding any characters. I'm just gonna hit you a bunch of times real hard.
Make sure you're doing what you want to do, because I'm just gonna swing in and hit you really hard.
Yeah,
man, I've played against him a few times online before the tournament, and I was playing my Dragon team against him, and then I also played my King Black Bolt team, and yeah, his teams are rough against me, but I think he was just workshopping some teams at the time, and I'd already finished my teams, and so he was going against a meta team, and he did pretty well against me, but he's a really good player that has his bag management down tight. I've seen him have his bag pretty well managed up to 5 or 6 turns, and really, when you're first starting a competitive match, that's pretty good.
Well, we were talking about with the kind of consistency of damage with Zach's team and then Captain America, and how it kind of lacked that. Chris's second team with the Morph, Boom Shockwave, that is just brutal over and over again. You just keep Bishop Morph back, do it again next turn, 5 damage at least every turn.
Yeah,
that's super strong.
And you only need a mask.
Welcome back.
Yeah, you need basically a 2-cost character and a 4-cost character out on the field. That's all you need.
So you're avoiding Green Devil Mask.
Yeah, Boom Morph, that's it. But I will say, though, that both of Chris's teams are pretty vulnerable to Patrick's the coolest team in the tournament. From my point of view, the Hela Yarnborn, Wonder Woman, Steve Trevor
shenanigans.
An award that Ben gives out for coolest team at the end of the tournament.
There you go.
I heard this guy called Ben is running a really cool Guardians team. No, but seriously, that Wonder Woman is gonna be really difficult for Chris to play around.
Yeah, I mean,
He doesn't have a lot of spot removal on either team. He
They-
has Shriek and Blob, right? But they are both weak against the Wonder Woman. And Patrick can get out that Wonder Woman real fast.
yeah, like turn 3 most times.
And Morph is shut down doubly by Wonder Woman as well.
I mean, I don't think we're giving away the secret sauce for Patrick's team, but you stop Hela, you stop his team. It's just really hard when he's going so fast with that to get that Hela out. It's hella fast.
It's hella
What?
fast.
I know. That's not a
Alright,
cuss.
Stream's over.
I know.
But even without the Hela, you still got some really massive, like, the stats just you can't mess up, right? Because if you mess up and attack at the wrong time, you're going to get hit by Wonder Woman and Bishop and Wrecker and Steve Trevor. They're all massive attacks.
Yeah. It's just that team gets super accelerated when they all have Immortal and that Yarnborn goes out.
Oh yeah, and +2 attack and +2 defense. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit, but yeah.
I
A
mean,
little bit.
yeah, just
Well, against Zach, he swung for like 63 damage or something stupid like that. Yeah.
And what's funny is Zach switched in to fix it when he couldn't have lethal because he didn't have a mask. He's like,
Just have some defense.
yeah, and he's like, I better get this in there. And then Patrick's like counting, and Zach's like, all right, I got 12 defense. I could probably, and then Patrick's like, I've got 63 with Overcrush. What? Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So Joe, what's up? What are your thoughts on the top 8?
Looks like a real mess.
As Ben would say, they're not cool, except for one team.
No, I'd say they're all definitely cool. There's slight variations to the villains team, which we knew was going to happen. I like the fact that Green Devil Mask and Sebastian Rogue are they're represented really well here. And I mean, I hate to say it, but it might come down to who plays their villain team better, or who can beat Shadow Meld first.
Or James.
Or James, yep, or James.
But if you look at all the teams, is there like, I'm trying to work out what the most similar team. There's no mimicking of each other's teams. There's like, so even the villains teams, right? They either have Owlman as an alternate win condition, or they have just slight variations, or you have Yanti Boom Boom, or you have Morph Boom Boom. There's all like just slightly different ways to play the same team, or completely different ways of doing everything.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's you've got the same exoskeleton for a couple of teams, but then everything else is just so wildly different. Even the morph teams are different to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really just people having their own vision of a certain type of team and just going off of that and being like, here's how I think I can make it mine. And you want to play cards that you know you're going to buy and play, because if you just have them on the team because it's part of the meta and it's something that you think you should have, it's not going to work if you're not going to play it. And those people are picking cards that they knew they would play because they're really excited about it. That's part of the thing of it.
So basically, my vision of the top 8 is whoever can beat Shadow Meld first is probably going to wind up winning the tournament. If not, there's a good chance he's gonna go for finals. And then James, I mean, I don't want to speak ill, but everybody's winning streak has got to come to an end sometime.
Yeah, it's just he's really on point with his plays. That's the thing that keeps, like, I've seen him not roll well in the tournament and still win. So it's not, he's a very even kill kind of player, and that keeps him in matchups and that keeps him playing well. He doesn't get tilted like me.
So really what I would look forward to is like a top 4 with both of them playing against each other, so that'll maybe have, provide some sort of a mix up or a shake up for finals.
Yeah, I mean, James and Shadow aren't going to be playing. If they play each other, it's going to be in the finals.
Yeah.
And then the matchup that I'm like,
And again, I'm not downplaying anybody else. In fact, I want Chris Club to be in the finals because I love his morph team a lot more than I love the other ones because I've actually used a variant of it with Sans the rare bishop, and I think I had I had something else in that slot as well as the shriek. So I had everything else the same except for the bishop and the shriek.
I would have thought that Zach, because they had that Captain America team, and you really like that team.
I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love to hate.
You love seeing it, but you hate playing it.
Well, yeah, it's because it reminds me of like how much better at that team he is every time I sit down to play it. Like no matter how well my rolls go, I'm like, I'm just not playing it as well enough as Zach would.
Yeah. Yeah. Only gold dragons allowed.
Gold Dragon is cool, Reg. Yes, it is.
It is. That is funny that I did have the most expensive team and probably did one of the worst things in the tournament. So.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that like Yanti is really not a big part of a lot of these teams. I mean, they have Boom Boom and Yanti. Yanti's a little bit of a flex, like other option.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like the main focus.
Yeah,
You were the only one running super rare Yanti, right, Chris?
yeah. I mean, that's my favorite card. I wanted to play it, and it just did not pan out for me. It either did not roll or I got so wide on doing something else that I never came back to her. Most of the time, Boom Boom.
The thing with Super Rare Yanti, right, is the common you can just do more damage with because her attack is 2 or 3, and you just can't buy 2 or 3 action dice when you have Super Rare Yanti out. It's just impossible.
Well,
with the same consistency.
That's when you have Zendala and Sudafed Dragon or Pseudo Dragon.
Yeah, I guess.
Sudafed Dragon.
So, I mean, a really good team that I've been working out with Marcus has been Pseudo Dragon, Yanti, and Zendala Simber, and Common Cube. And then you play Common Cube. The first thing you buy first action die costs 1 less. Then every subsequent action die costs 3 less. So you don't even have to have 1 cost. You can just buy another Cosmic Cube and buy the rest, and they're dead if you're ramping properly.
And that's the thing, though. Were you ramping properly?
On this team, there's too many things that counter the team that I was playing. It was too many half measures, not too many I'm going to do this to make sure that you have to stop it. I had too many half measures on my team. That's the problem. I should have either went all Yanti or all Boom Boom, not pull it 2 different ways. That's the problem. Breaks right there. So, I know what I did wrong with my Yanti team. I didn't have enough control to make it work properly, and it was a half measure each time that I would either buy a Yanti or a Boom Boom. I would be better suited to do something else to boost either one of those. So
what are you looking at?
I was looking out the window for answers, and I just couldn't find it.
So chat, give us a second on the latest announcement. We're gonna finish out the top 8, and then we'll talk about what everybody else is ready to talk about, which is not top 8 news.
Oh, what else are we gonna talk about?
We'll talk about the release of the newest product, or the release notes for the newest product.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about that after the top 8, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much done with the top 8. Do you guys have any other things you want to throw in about the top 8 and how it's pretty much all unique teams and they have their own takes on it?
Ben's correct as far as the coolness scale goes. I really enjoy Matt Jourdain's teams. So pretty much I would rank it the same. I would rank it Shadow's teams, and then Matt's teams, and then everybody else's.
Yeah.
Oh, I just feel like Matt's teams are kind of like thematic as well as being, well, not really. The dragons are thematic, right? And the sidekicks are all like, I have a bunch of sidekicks, and I have a bunch of dragons. It's not like a mixed match of these are all really good meta cards.
Yeah.
Well, he does pretty well to have that sidekick themed stick. To like
and
Marvel.
still be really strong.
Yeah.
You just like saying
guys,
thematic. That's all it is.
If you have a Mr. Fix-It on your team, I'm rooting for you. So,
Yeah, I feel like the Zach's team with the Jarvis and the Fix-It, just for originality of like using
cool
using the insect play global the way he did was really interesting.
Yeah.
And also gaining life when you need to. It's a conditional, but it might come in handy.
Yeah. So the people that ended outside of the top 10, that if you guys want to know who barely was outside,
came in 9th and 10th.
Michael Ingledew came in 9th. He was percentage points behind Zach. I think they had a common opponent that Zach beat, and then Michael lost a game, and that's really what it came down to. TJ Bozilla came in 10th. I ruined his chances of making the top 8.
Spoiler.
Yeah. And then in 11th place, there's Robert Hernandez. I don't know. I don't know who that jackhole is.
That sounds like a jerk.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Handyman Hernandez to you.
So Robert finished the highest out of anyone that is on our channel. Period.
Yes.
Very nice.
I wasn't paying attention most of the time.
Yeah, mostly drawing. And then Stephen McEwen. Then
That's good. I think this is like his first proper online tournament as well.
Yeah, he did really well. And then Reg Sims came in 13th, and he put that restriction of $40 to $45 for his team.
He did super well.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But he's one of the local players, like a little bit far away. But I've been at their store twice, and like just the upgrade from him playing in the store, like in this tournament, like from when I first went, which was a couple of months ago, to when I last went, which was like a week ago. Like his upgrade and just how much better he is at like bag management, knowing when to attack, when to block, when to buy certain things has like increased immensely. You can tell just from playing all the people in this tournament.
So would you say he's on par with other European or other UK champions?
Well, I'm just gonna say I won the last tournament. So. Although I think I was the only person like not drafting for rarity in the draft. So
Oh,
there you go.
yeah, that kind of bites you in the butt when you need rare cards and you're like at the draft event, like, well, do I want to win this or do I want to go for cards? It's always go for cards.
Yeah, that's such a tough decision.
I also actually got Rare Gold Dragon so in my first pack. I was like,
Oh, shut up. Oh my god. And I also happen to pull Ring of Winter. Just those two, you know.
Got passed to me the next turn.
Hey man, I saw Rob doing that pull on the channel when he got Ring of Winter and 2 other super rares in one day.
Oh, that was awesome. I should just retire.
You should have.
I hate Robert. I just want one super rare card. I'm willing to trade like 2 super rares for it. And I bought 35 packs. I'm willing to trade my Nabi and I'm getting Black Bolt for it. But
For a Jubilee.
For a Jubilee, yeah.
I've got Jubilee for you.
I really want that card. I really need that card. But I'm probably not going to get that card. I'm out of stupid money for that. So.
Well, it's not anywhere. You can't even buy it for stupid money. It's just you can't buy it for any money.
You can buy it on eBay for like $70.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Putting mine on eBay for $70.
I'll trade you 2 super rares for it. One you don't have.
Reg, I believe at a glance, Super Rare Jubilee is in 2 of the top 8 teams.
It's just such a good card.
Yeah, it's pesky.
It's tier 1 tech. Honestly, that's how I'd say it.
Think so?
The way Patrick uses it with the cake global is super cool as well.
Yeah.
Like that is like a really nice little engine.
Yeah. I think Patrick needs to do a video on how to cake properly because that you're sitting there watching and we're like, yeah, he doesn't have anything in the use pile. That globe's He just did cake and
I
never
would say
mind.
that, but then Patrick just does it like Patrick's just like, oh yeah, I do this, and then I'm done. Well, thanks, Patrick.
Or you're telling him a team, he's like,
Let
what
me-
do you
let
what
me
do you
check you're working?
Yeah. You tell him a team that you build and you're like, what are you using to win? I don't know. I thought I knew until this point. Oh. Super Red Jubilee did super good in this tournament. People that use Jubilee for what she is, which is either ramping, fix it, pinging out opponents, or just being a second level or third level win con that you have to deal with, which I would say she's higher next level win con. She can't be your number one win con. She can't. She's just not that. But she does so many other things that helps you out.
The thing is, yeah, she has a massive body as well. Like 4-3 is a really good stats for a 2-cost.
Yep.
I mean, it costs you 2 to put her out, but you still have that kind of damage on the board if you need it.
Yeah,
and then you just have that constant, because you're not doing anything you don't want to be doing, right? You're buying a 2-cost character which fits really nicely into a curve. You get her out. You keep ramping with Mimic. So you're going to be doing that anyway if you have Mimic. So you may as well just keep chipping away, and then alternatively, instead of doing damage to your opponent, you can always do it to a character to clear it. So it's like removal, it's ramp, it's churn, and it's also a big
so good
attacking character.
And if they make the mistake of knocking out your Mimic to try to kill your ramp, that's probably the worst thing your opponent... that's the best thing your opponent can do for you, because you just put it on Jubilee and you have a big body to swing in.
Mm-hmm.
And if their board is clear, you're swinging for him, because they're going to try to keep pinging him out, and you got to make them pay for pinging out your ramp, and it's super good. Robert made someone pay by fielding Mimic and putting using Fix-It stats, and it was just gross.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I do want to see someone do the Mimic and name their opposing sidekicks.
I've done it. It doesn't work out that well.
You did it against me while I was playing a Jubilee, I think. And
Yeah.
it worked a couple of turns because I wanted to do the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I
you just
stopped.
killed him.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, enough of that.
Then I stopped.
Yep.
Yeah. This ends now.
So what do you guys think is like ramp 101? Like, what's the best ramp?
Mimic and Professor X, hands down.
Spot investigation if there's no switch in your local meta.
That's...
Yeah, but I mean, Mimic is a lot more reliable because Professor X is just a global. You don't have to have two separate
All
cards.
of those guys though take a lot, but even with the Mimic though, you still need kind of Billy Club. Well, you don't need it, I suppose, but having the option of Billy Club is really useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a global can take out that ramp.
And it makes you build a sidekick team, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, though that ramp is really good, but it could be knocked out with one global because you're copying a sidekick. That's the only problem that I have with that. Where Spot, yeah, if he's on his low side, you can knock him out with a global, but if you get him on the second or third side, it's going to take 2 or 3 globals.
Yeah, but how often are you going to roll that investigation?
And
I mean, take it
Tabaxi
from
Rogue,
me.
like Reg said in the chat, Tabaxi Rogue puts a big tax on that.
Yeah.
On either of them, really.
Yeah. I mean, Reg just dominated me with when he had Tabaxi Rogue out. I couldn't roll anything. I only rolled Spot, and he just let it go. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and do that. Killed myself with investigations.
Hey, you did.
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't field anything.
There's always a choice.
The thing that I like about Spot investigation, if you chain it properly, you can buy something and get it into the field that same turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's really, really gross about that. And it could be a big body, and you're just ramping enough to get up to him, but you have to buy 2 investigations. So you want to go first, and if your opponent goes first and they buy the investigation, it kind of ruins those plans. But if you buy 2 investigations with Spot investigation, you can get a big body out there pretty quickly.
So what about Heimdall? How's everyone feeling about that? So how many
I
teams?
like Heimdall, but you have to have something in your use pile, and I don't know.
It's situational.
And I usually forget about it. but that's just me.
Yeah. I don't forget about it, but man, if your bag is running somewhat properly, you're not going to have the things in the use pile to Heimdall over. If you're running it properly, so I'm
not against it though.
Yeah, Matt is right. It's a little bit hard to use, and it's
only on your turn.
Yeah,
that's the bad thing about it.
So you don't think it's good enough to run by itself as ramp?
I mean, you can. You just gotta be prepared for it.
I really want to try out the Samantha Wilson spot ramp.
I think that's the most interesting ramp that's currently in the top 8. They made it through to the top 8.
Yeah, Matt Jourdain. I mean, as a victim of that team, that is just nuts to see him just go off of fielding 2 or 3 sidekicks.
He does use the worst card in the game though.
Jarvis? Big entrance. That's super good. It's super good for him though.
That card is a waste of time.
Did anyone use a super rare dark side?
Yes, there was I think Paul Vidro used it. He's not in the top 8, but he used it. It's just a lot of times it just did not like if they knock out the sidekick, if they have means to knock out the sidekick, it's not that good of a ramp. But with the prevalence of the new with the prevalence of the Professor Xavier Global, it's not that bad. You just got to have Professor X on your team.
But the biggest problem is like you're spending 6 to get your ramp going. Like you have to ramp up to get the ramp started. So you need
very backsided
ramp anyway to get up to the 6. So it kind of just defeats the purpose, right?
Well, I mean, if you have Parademon, if you have that that Parademon that pings them for 1 for each thing that has Swarm, you're doing lots of damage. That's your win con.
I guess, but I think like we've seen that Parademon is
super bad.
Well, he's expensive, but Swarm in general, like you need to be getting something else out of it other than just the ramp because it's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
A ramp in and of itself, right? You need either the Chwingwa for the alternate like KO, or the Batiri so you get actual stats, or the Parademon where you actually do damage with the Swarm. Like it's not good enough just by itself.
Yeah. When you have to use ramp to get up to your super ramp, it's a little bit wasted. Yeah, you can, but you're also not buying your win.
You have to not buy your win condition, and you have to sell out to do it.
Mm-hmm. Granted, it won Online Worlds, didn't it? It was super rare Dark Side.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't stick around for it long enough.
It was super.
I wasn't in that tournament, so I don't think it counts.
It's so ridiculous.
It doesn't exist.
There wasn't any Online Worlds. I don't know what you're talking about. Chris, you're too new. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man. Yeah, I would say, depending on your matchups, Mimic and Billy Club and Professor X and then Spot Investigation. I think, depending on your situation, either one of those are pretty freaking good ramp. Candlekeep is probably one of the worst basic actions for ramp.
Even with Malekith super rare, I couldn't make it work. So.
Yeah, it's just kind of rough because it's a 4-drop.
I don't think I've ever used Candlekeep.
There's a reason for that.
Hey, I used it. I was in my team. I was in my Guardians team. I used it. I won with it. It actually worked super well.
How many games did you win again? How many matches did you win?
Well, I'm just talking about the last. Very good. It was very good in the last game. No, but it is a good way to get up to that 6 cost, right? Because you can prep 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it early enough.
You're good to go.
And that flexibility is really good. And it's interesting because people won't buy out from under you like they will Investigation.
Yeah, Reg says, what's the most hated card to see on your opponent's team? And I think Scarlet Witch. I hate Scarlet Witch.
I think Hela. Uncommon Hela.
Brutal. No, but definitely I agree with Rob. I think I think there's 2 cards which are just so hard to deal with right now. and that change your playstyle completely, and that's Switch and Green Devil Mask. There's just so little to deal with both of those when it's effective to deal with them. Like Switch happens so early in your turn, like you have to do something about it on their turn, and it's really difficult to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then Green Devil Mask, even if you have a way to remove it,
You can't have 3 in the field to remove it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to like plan when is a good time to trip it, when is a good time to just play around it. When do I just need to not care about it and try to like? I think if you have 3 characters in reserve and you could field a sidekick and you can field those 3 characters after that, I think it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I would go with the uncommon Madam Mask. I would hate to see that.
But I guess that's very dependent on your team, though, right, Joe? Like, if you have no one fielded, who cares?
And Scarlet Witch, if you don't have very many,
I know, but even if you don't have very many actions, you're required to bring at least 2.
Yeah, but if you don't need them, you don't need them. If your team depends, like the Captain Chemistry team, it doesn't depend on any actions. You use 2 fists and a mask, and you don't care about actions.
That's true, but but Switch denies you access to 4 cards out of 12 that you're allowed to buy from, right?
Well, I mean, you can get
It
lucky.
doesn't deny you, but it makes it much more difficult for you to. And anyone who's bringing Switch is going to be bringing some good action.
Yeah.
So
we just saw nips on your back behind you, Ben. Like one of your roommates walked through.
That's great.
Yeah, Kate Bishop's.
The Playboy mentioned here.
The stream is now 18 up.
It's after
I'm
hours.
the Hugh Hefner of Canada.
This is Dice Masters After Dark.
That's not water in that bottle.
What the heck happened to the stream?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Green Devil Mask and Scarlet Witch.
So far, we have Scarlet Witch, Madam Mask, Green Devil Mask, and Kate Bishop. All 4 of those suck.
Kate
But
Bishop
that's-
is pretty tough.
The thing with Madam Mask though and Kate Bishop is they're very good ways of dealing with both those things, right?
Green
Like,
Devil
if
Mask,
you're
you
worried
can't do
about-
anything.
If you're worried about Kate Bishop, there are a bunch of things you can do.
Yeah.
Go super fast.
I brought a Shriek specifically to deal with Kate Bishop, and I didn't see one Kate Bishop. That's horrible.
You did have a chance to switch, but you chose not to because you.
What was I going to put in there? Another Shriek?
I mean, you could have put. I don't know, man. Another energy fixer.
That's true. I didn't have all 4 on my teams. Dang it.
You fell short. I
did. I let myself down.
And Madam Mask as well, you can deal with it. You can deal with it on your turn before you field the characters, right? So you have at least an opportunity to. Whereas the Switch and Green Devil Mask, there's just no opportunity to deal with them.
I think Blob is another tough one.
Blob is a really tough one, but again, at least you have some opportunity to deal with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just have Absorbing Man.
I hate those cards too.
What, Absorbing Man?
Absorbing Man, and what's the other one? Is it Wrecker?
Yeah, Wrecker.
The copies KOs or whatever.
Oh, that's Adam Warlock.
I know, Adam Warlock, yeah.
What are the 2 that
I'm surprised. Did anyone run that team? No one ran that team, right?
What?
We had an Adam Warlock that was on that
Capture.
Was with Madam Web.
Yeah, that was the Capture, and it was just super troll. It was Steve that ran that.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
Because he stole all of Jared's characters at one point, and Jared was just like.
Frontline was still legal. I would have ran a Madam Web team. Because I like Frontline, unblockable. I like flying sidekicks just in general.
Do you know what I'm surprised we didn't see? 1 against many. That card's super good.
You were talking about that last night.
Especially with Malekith. Where you deal X damage, where X damage +2, where X is the number of fielded characters your opponent has.
Oh, that one.
Like, that is, like, super good.
That's actually...
Especially if you're not running, like, against psychic teams. Hello.
It's really good.
I'll make a hyper velocity team.
Oh, that card
Yeah,
is
attack.
such a letdown. That card makes me so sad.
All right, so we've talked about cards we don't want to see. Talked about the top 8. What's next? What do you guys want to talk about?
We had some people talking about the new sets coming out.
Absolutely. So Dice Masters just released some stuff. We got it from Dice Masters North. So Laurier and Matt put out some things. So we got it from them. So I'm going to credit them on this. They say November 2018, we're going to get X-Men Forever campaign box. Is going to be around the 2001 miniseries of the same name, basically. And they're saying how they please want it to be that, but yeah. So it's going to be a campaign box. Then they're going to have Dark X-Men Team Pack. Interesting.
It's really interesting they've gone for like Marvel again.
I hate that. As a DC fanboy, I hate that. I'm not a hardcore fanboy, but I mean, come on.
We got like Harley Quinn, right? And that's just
That's it, right? Oh, we're
Team
getting
pack.
the Justice. We're getting
Well,
the
we're
Justice.
Yeah, the Justice coming out right before that one.
And it's Alex Ross art, so it looks amazing.
Oh my God, chilled out.
okay, yeah, I forgot
Just
about that.
saying. Hashtag just saying.
I'm wondering when they're going to come out with like D&D after this. They may not. They may not have another D&D set.
Everybody's actually wanting D&D over Marvel this time around, from what the comments have been saying online recently.
I want D&D. I want D&D. TOA is my favorite set. It's the first one that I really went hard to try to get, and it's the first one that actually pulled 2 super rares that I really wanted, and I didn't really have to try trading that much, but yeah. And then the last one that's coming out is the X-Force Team Pack. I think that's going to be really good. I thought X-Force comics were pretty good.
So we're gonna get another Cable.
Probably. Good
It's been a
Cannonball.
while since we had a Cable, though.
A good Cable.
Well, there was that one with all the art that was really expensive to get
Mm-hmm.
that I never got. I'll never have.
Ever.
Cry me a river.
You got the trades for it. You just don't put down your needs, and I can't update your list. Ugh! I don't know.
Read
I
my
don't know.
brain.
Oh my God. So, I kind of, I wish they would give another D&D set. I understand why they're not. Marvel is the hot thing right now. It's understandable. They're also going to have a new IP, Warhammer 40K, that's going to be coming out pretty soon.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I want another new IP to come out, not just another Marvel, honestly.
Ooh.
No more Turtles? Where's Yu-Gi-Oh?
I miss
There's
Yu-Gi-Oh. I like Yu-Gi-Oh.
there's not going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh.
There's never gonna be another Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was a one-time thing.
That set was amazing though.
They
Yeah.
had plans for a second set, but then rumor has it that it was shelved in favor of bigger IPs, and they never went back to it.
Yeah.
Make one.
You'll make one.
I'll make one.
I'm sure Konami would be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, they won't make you number the dice or anything.
Yeah.
We're cool like that.
I think that's the biggest reason deterrent for them making another Yu-Gi-Oh set was that Konami required them to number the dice.
Yeah, that's weird.
And that was kind of like a hard, stop on any future plans. Was that reason right there? Because the whole deal with Dice Masters is you can collect the dice and have as many as you want, and then only have to bring one copy of each card. But in this case, you had to bring like multiples of numbered dice for that specific card, meaning that you had more cards than dice at certain points.
Yeah.
I do agree. I would like a turtle set. Because I just got my first one and it was the second one. I really like turtles.
Well,
I mean,
the
they
good thing
knocked
about
it out of the
Turtles,
park.
yeah, the good thing about Turtles was how self-contained they were, and like you could literally get pretty good team out of 2 teams out of one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then have quite a good back and forth. So it'd be interesting to see how closely kind of they mimic that with the new releases for new box sets, and if they're just as good kind of for new people to jump in on, then that can only be good things.
That would be interesting. A tick team pack, Michael. That would be kind of interesting.
Spoon. That'd be awesome. I love that cartoon.
I could even see them maybe doing a Simpsons IP just to be silly.
I wouldn't want that.
Come on.
Sideshow Bob and Sideshow Mel.
Oh.
So here's the problem with them doing that silly IP is they've already attempted to do it with Deadpool and they missed horribly.
That was also when they were releasing too much stuff.
Yeah.
I like some of
Deadpool
Deadpool.
was silly though.
I enjoyed Deadpool. I didn't enjoy how little time it had. Its shelf life was kind of like narrowed by the fact that they forced rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was it was just a victim of
Circumstance?
like weird kind of change in policy with them going to LCG rather than CCG.
Yeah, and so the other big news is they don't have any blind draft cards or packs in this year.
No.
So either they got it planned for next year or it's just dead in Dice Masters, which I'm thinking it might just be dead.
I'm hoping that they're doing this just to try to build a community, a bigger fan base, because you have everything all in one to where you don't have to spend a lot of money. Especially when people hear like, oh yeah, they put out a set last month and there's another one coming out this month, and kind of turns people off. Like, crap, I gotta buy stuff every month now. Like, I'm behind.
I mean, remember after like 4 months of me being into the game, Robert, and I got super frustrated, and I was just like, man, I don't know if I can keep playing. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you encouraged me to stay in the game by just saying, don't be a bitch.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I said.
But
Where was this heading again, Chris?
Where was the what?
Where was this heading again? Where were you going with this?
That's it. It's just, it makes it really rough when they release stuff close together, and if they keep doing that with the LCG, where they're
you were talking about getting burned out. Okay.
yeah,
Just didn't know where you were going with it.
monetarily burned out by having to buy so many things all at once, which is stupid. The whole entire reason for going to an LCG model is to have a more consistent, more susceptible for new people to come in the game and not get burned out. And they're not doing that if they just keep releasing with the release schedule where it's like, oh, we're backed up. We need to release 3 things in 1 month. Sorry, guys. Have fun.
But they're a small company, so if the switch to LCG makes it more manageable, the problem with WizKids is you want consistency, right? And there's just no consistency.
Yeah.
With the releases, like you get like 3 in 3 months, and then nothing for 6 months.
You got 2 in 1 month one time.
Yeah.
This past year.
It was super bad in the UK as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine for y'all. That was
Hard times.
hard out there on them streets.
Yeah. that third world nation, Great Britain.
Wow.
Gonna get beaten up when I go back there now.
Man, so they can really grow their company, grow the community if they do it right. And so far, it might lead to consumer confidence going down with the way they're doing things. Honestly,
But I think it will actually be a bigger boost for doing the LCG thing. I think will generally be a bigger boost in the board game market, which is where this game was initially pretty successful with stuff like the Dice Tower. And all
that's how it was
the online,
introduced.
all the online companies will, because a lot of their problems with it and all kind of the video YouTube channels was that it's collectible, right? So they can't consistently review them. Whereas if it's just a box set and it's self-contained, you're going to get a bunch of people more willing to have it on their shelves, right? Because you can be like, oh, let's put this fun two-player game.
yeah. It's just for the people that want to. I know the
For
competitive
serious
scene,
players, it's much more of a
a hassle.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying I'm a super competitive player, but I mean,
You'd like to be.
this online. I want to run online. This is what I want to do from now on. Like we want to run online tournaments, and it's going to be really hard when half the world doesn't have half the product because they're so backed up. And then when a certain stuff comes out for Europe and the other parts of the world, we're going to have other stuff in the US that the Europeans and other players don't have. And it's just like, when's a good time to have a tournament at that point?
But yeah, well, you hope it improves, right?
We're depending on WizKids to improve it.
But hopefully with simpler release schedules and less product and less random product, that it'll be easier to do that.
Yeah.
There's fewer cards in each set, right, than there is now.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So what I would love for them to do is to get an ironed out schedule, like you said, spread everything out. But when they get closer to, let's say, like nationals or worlds or something like that, they put out product that's blind product, so that you can do drafts can be a part of nationals and worlds.
Well, that Truby Cube is pretty good, so I could see them going to Dice Coalition and asking if they can, or axing for the cube for the draft. That would, I think, if WizKids actually got involved with the community, it would be better, but they don't.
Well, no, so like, let's say that they're next, so just before, a few weeks before nationals, they release a campaign box, and then during nationals, and then while they announce that, they say, oh, by the way, we're going to have this version, but in draft packs for nationals, like that's going to be one of the events.
Yeah.
And you get like a chance at foil versions of it or something like that. I think that'd be really awesome if they
they'd be old cards, the same cards as everyone else already has, but they'd be like alt art or
foil.
There would be like, you would get the best of both worlds, right? You would get those cards that that are unique and different from a collector's perspective, but you would also be able to still do your favorite limited format, which is draft.
Well, I think most people agree that draft is one of the funnest ways to play this game.
It's one of the best ways to learn.
That's true.
Just because you're getting cards that, like, because when I first started, Robert gave me all the cards I had, and I just tried to build teams off of that, and I just read through and made sure I could build a good team, and of course it wasn't, but I was just playing with cards that I had. And with draft, you're having to learn on the fly, and that's a super good way to learn.
The bad thing about the LCG is you're not going to be able to do that. Like, I can't just give some guys, here's some extra cards I have from my box set. I'm not going to do that because it's my set, I'm not breaking it up.
Yeah, that's the other rough thing, because that's how you got me into it. That's how you got your roommate into it.
Yeah.
You're like the wrecker of lives by just getting people into Dice Masters, Robert.
Wow.
God, I'm addicted. Crack got him.
Don't mess with Robert. He's just he's a gateway friend.
Yeah.
They were just saying that draft packs were much better than rainbow drafting.
Yeah. I
would disagree with that.
Well, you're wrong.
No, I loved the rainbow draft. It was so much better than draft packs.
I'm good either way, as long as I'm drafting.
The rainbow draft is good because you get to bring your own basic action cards. That's good.
Well, you also get 2 first picks.
True, but if you just turn the draft pack over and just do, before you even look at them, side, you could still get to keep 2 cards.
Could do that.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, dude.
It's too complicated.
It's not too complicated. It's literally cutting the cards.
You can't do that because half the card, like in draft packs, all the rares are at the back. So you just cut one pack, which is like all rares.
Yeah, you get to keep 2 rares that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, you wouldn't though. You get one pack with. Well, you would.
Yeah, you would if you go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, if you do 1 and 1, then you're gonna split them in half.
That's so confusing.
It's not that bad.
And you can't do chaos drafts with draft packs.
That's true.
Well, yeah. But I mean, just saying, like, marketing it that way so that way it gives people an incentive to go to Nats or Worlds, especially since they're going to have them scheduled at 2 different points in the year instead of, like, the same weekend. So then you give people more incentive, like, oh, and by the way, there's a bonus draft pack that'll get you, it's like a last chance qualifier as well.
Yeah, interesting to see what they do in general with prize support.
I think eventually it's going to be foil versions of the cards that they give in the campaign boxes.
I mean, I don't mind that either.
No.
I like that.
I think that's a good model. and I mean, when they hand out the foil versions of the WKO events, everyone's like, "I'll trade this for $200. You want to do that?" People love it that much.
I know, but the foils are all arts are so much better.
Well, when it's foil alt art, it's so good, so good.
True. Like one of my favorite alt arts, is Dwarf Wizard is one of my favorite alt arts, as well as the Human Paladin.
I felt bad for Jared on that alt art because he could have got that. Yeah. But everyone decided they wanted to hand out those kind of cards for the draft. And then, yeah. Rough.
The new Brotherhood all arts look super good.
Yeah, they do.
Have you gotten yours yet?
Yeah, I got a couple at the last event.
Yeah, I missed out on mine the other day.
And the Rocket ones are really good as well. The Guardians, Rocket and Groot, and the Power.
Yeah, I love those.
I like the Exiles. The Exiles look cool too. I like how we were just it's a top 8 discussion and it's turned into complaining about WizKids a little bit. All right. So
well, let's go ahead and get back on track. So the matches that we're looking forward to seeing are did you
all of
them?
We already announced them, and I'm excited to see all of them because I think all of them could go either way. That's kind of a cop-out answer, but really that's really how it is for me. I just really love watching Dice Masters. And
I really want to know how James is going to do. If he can keep. I generally, like Joe was saying earlier, I really want to see if he can carry on.
Yeah, for the undefeated. So we have one person who's.
Yeah, I mean, with the way the tournament works, there was going to be one undefeated.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at that, everybody's going to be focusing on that one.
Is there a way to stop that Gold Dragon?
Yeah.
There probably is. It's really rough because you can get it out like turn 3 or 4, and just do stupid things.
With the Ring of Winter?
Yeah.
Has he gone up against Kate Bishop? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's gone up against a Kate Bishop once, and that's what Zach's representing as a Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
But even if you Kate Bishop, you still get your breath weapon, don't you?
Still doing 3. And he still has that Gold Dragon.
So I played up against Matt, and that's what I used was the Kate Bishop, and that was the only thing. But all it did was just prolong the inevitable, pretty much.
Yeah, if you don't have big enough bodies to back it up after that, it's just prolonging the inevitable.
He also has that shriek that stops global abilities.
Oh,
when he attacks.
That is correct.
Need Bishop maybe. Just trying to think of a way to stop the Gold Dragon.
Blanket.
Does he have Bishop? I didn't.
No.
That.
Someone needs to stop him with Bishop.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that as a solution to let's try and brainstorm how to destroy James.
Well,
but you're only stopping 3 damage.
How can we take him down?
Breaking down their first match of the top 8, which is Zach and James, because they're more than likely going to do it within the next couple of days to record on their own channel. And so breaking that down, we could, Zach has a chance if he finds a way to blank the Gold Dragon or the Mr. Fix-It.
I think on one of his teams he doesn't have.
I mean, that's just the horrible question, isn't it? I have Fix-It and I have Gold Dragon. You can blank one and leave the other one for me to.
Well, so if he blanks, see, here's the good part though. Let me see what Zach's team, because I think you should be able to do both on just his Captain America team.
Let's just work out how Zach can destroy James.
I mean, this is how you do it, though.
That's what we're doing right now.
I think they've played it. I think they've played to see how they can beat each other. Honestly,
let's just go through all the matchups and just talk about how we can take down the top seeds.
While we're sitting here in the bottom,
in the losers' couch.
So Zach can potentially blob the Gold Dragon and Kate Bishop Global the Mr. Fix-It. That's his solution right there.
I think blob is too slow.
Yeah, it might be.
It
Is it
captured.
blanking blob?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
capture blob.
capture blob.
Yeah.
Capture. Okay.
So it's not too slow. He can curve into it.
So you have to keep Gold Dragon on the field.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're going to be attacking and swinging him every single time that you
True.
can.
No, because you K-Bishop Global that first time that he swings with Gold Dragon. Then you go back and you capture it with Blob.
Does he have Capture Blob on his team?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So that's how Captain America can beat it.
Okay, but then you've taken out the Gold Dragon, so
Right, and then you
which
use the
is to-
K-Bishop Global to take care of the Mr. Fix-It.
I know he still has Shriek.
Then he has a streak, yeah.
You get Wrecker Global to draw it out. Or you Cold Cone it. There's ways around it.
Capture blob again.
Yeah. Keep buying Capture Blobs.
You could. He does have 4 in his team, Zach.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's it. That's
That's how you
easy.
do it right
Easy.
there.
James is easily beat.
All right. So are we calling Zach's win right now?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's outs. So like when you look at each of these top 8 matchups that we're going into, each of the teams has outs. If not more than one team should have an out or 2 outs.
What we're saying is Zach shouldn't win necessarily, but if he doesn't, he's really terrible.
That's not what we're saying at all.
That's it. That's all we're saying.
That's what I heard Joe say.
I'm saying that if we want to watch to see like how James can be undefeated, there's like Zach has a chance to break that record.
I think anyone has in the top 8, but anyone in the top 8 does have a chance of winning, right? All these teams are really good.
So basically,
and the draft format is like
GG, get better, kid.
but Joe's right. Joe is right. Like it's just completely going to be down to that little bit of matchups versus roles versus who makes that one right call.
I mean, I think James has more backup plans than Zach on either of his teams.
Yeah.
And I think Zach has had some of the least amount of backup plans on any team in the tournament, and he just got perfect rolls the first 3 weeks. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the top 8, but I'm just saying.
Wow, I mean, do you want some salt?
No, I'm not. No, he played really well. I'm just saying he had.
Crap. Yeah.
No, he has one win con that he on his Mr. Fix-It team. He has one win con. If you shut it down, it's really rough for him. He doesn't have a backup.
Well, like we were just saying with James's team,
Yeah.
right? Like, and Steven said that in the video. Like, there's so many ways for James to win in all his teams.
Mm-hmm.
Layered.
Zach has like the Captain America. If you stop that, how's that going to win?
Yeah.
Maybe Batiri's, maybe, but that's tough, right? Fix It or Jarvis, you're like that kills his team as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying he has a bad team or a bad team on either one of them. I'm just saying it's really rough after if one thing gets
It's a very
stopped.
focused team, right? And that used to be really good, right? You used to be able to just have Bard, or you just be able to just have your anti, but you can't do that anymore. You need versatility, and you need kind of
not in a 2-team takedown format. So in the 2-team takedown format, you have to have layers of win cons, just because you're facing more than one team in a given match.
I think we just went offline. Hold on. Oh, no, we're back. All right. Sorry. My thing is messing up. Yeah, it was interesting to see Zach's win con, like Zach just rolling exactly what he needed on the first 3 weeks. The 4th week, he played James, and it was James knows how to play against Zach, and Zach knows how to play against James, and it was really just like play and counter play, and then against Shadow, it was just like he had the win conditions almost every single time. It's just he couldn't get them connected directly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
if you have answers to his teams, then there's not a lot he can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zach and James, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm rooting for the underdog. I just want to see if Zach can pull it out and, defeat the undefeated.
And that he should be able to do that.
Oh man, I do apologize. Having some little bit of chugging issues with the YouTube. I'm trying to fix it up, clear it up as best I can. All right, that should fix it. And then the second matchup is Laurier versus Nick.
Are we gonna go over the games again?
Well,
what's their road to win again for the underdog?
Say which we're gonna do. Are we actually gonna? Okay.
We're doing the breakdown.
So
Break it down.
who's the favorite in that one?
It's looking like it's Laurier.
Yeah, you know.
All right. So
Because Laurier has
4th seed, right?
yeah, Laurier's 4th,
Dark
Nick's
Arts working for him.
and Nick is the 5th seed. So it's not like they're separated by a lot. It was percentage points that put.
It's just that team up team that Laurier has is just set up way better to win against both of Nick's teams.
Yeah. I didn't really get to watch much of Nick's matches. I felt bad, but it's just like it was awkward times. Yes, Zach's stuff was not rolling for him against Patrick. That's the point of that team. If it's not rolling, it's rough. And then
I don't know. I don't know. I think Nick's team's I think that Morph Bishop team, the Morph K Bishop Boom Boom is pretty strong with the Shockwave.
No, it is. But I mean, looking at Laurier's teams, you've got. Well, I mean, again, Laurier and Nick both have teams are on either side of their, two teams. They have teams that are singular focus. Like he's got the Mr. Fix-It, but he's also got the Hulk. So I mean, there's ways around that too.
yeah. And all right.
I know, but Nick has ways of doing. I don't know. Nick has ways around both those.
I think Laurier is a slight advantage, but it's not by it's by percentage points. It's like a 51-49 on that
So
one.
looking at Nick's teams, like Nick definitely has a better chance with those Morph, but then you go with the versatility of Laurier's Mr. Fix-It team and the fact that he can win with either Hulk or Mr. Fix-It.
I know, but Nick can just hit you with Wong. Like all Nick needs to do is buy three or four Wongs, right?
Does he have Insect Plague on his team?
Yeah,
he does.
That's it.
Like, I mean, what's?
I think it's going to come up to matchups. Whoever loses the roll off.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those ones that it's going to really come down to matchups.
If Nick plays the Wong team really lean.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. I like how he has the backup Yanti Pureblood improvised weapon.
That's super gross.
And he just buys a Hulk and he's like, oh well, 50-50, let's go.
And if he buys the team up of Laurier's and swings in with the Yanti and improvised weapon,
Oh my goodness.
that could get massive.
So that would be another one that I would want to really stick close to and watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Laurier's teams in particular don't do well when they're being attacked like quite aggro.
Yeah, he's got to be the aggressor here.
Nick has ways to do that with both his teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I would still give Laurier the slight advantage. I don't know why, but just instinct tells me. And I'm a huge fan of that Morph team.
He's got wizard rolls, that's why.
Yeah.
And then Steven versus Matt. I'd say Matt. I don't know.
I've seen a couple of Steven's matches though, and Dion Ramada's, and he's got some really tight plays.
Yeah.
Steven is like super good at focusing on this is going to win me the game. Like, screw what my team does. I'm just going to do what wins.
Yeah. Which is what you got to do. You got to ditch the schedule and just go for what you need.
Well, I think I was watching one of his matches where like he had an option to buy. I can't remember what it was. He basically could have bought anything on his team, and he ended up just buying 2 more Yantis because that was what was winning him the game.
So it's not a bad win com.
I could go like and try and buy my dupe or my Malekith, but no, screw it. I'm just gonna do what wins.
Yeah. Whatever, Matt. Don't give us that crap, Mister. I'm gonna roll and draw every single sidekick that I have on my team.
Like I think that's gonna come. That's another. Like honestly, most of these are gonna come down to matchups.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I want to watch all these. Like I'm not just saying that. I want to watch all of them. I want to comment on all of them because I think it's going to come down to matchups, roles, pretty much, and who can counter who. If it turns into a chess match, it's going to be probably different in each one of them than the favor sometimes. But
I think the big things are right that Hela and Gold Dragon are the only two things that are like really kind of what answers are there to this. Everyone else is kind of prepared for everything else. Those two teams, no one's really prepared for.
I agree. I completely agree with that assessment. And I mean, I played Matt, game 1 in that Dragons team. You're right. I was like, man, I've prepared for every scenario except for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a surprise to everybody, though.
yeah. What's funny is round 2, depending on how things go, it could be. Well, it really depends on who wins.
Who goes through? Yeah, it does depend on who wins, Chris.
Oh, shut up. I just
in the top 8, it really depends on who wins for who makes the top 4.
Yeah, but I'm saying it could be Hela versus a Gold Dragon team.
Yeah.
But I can't really say that Matt's going to win his matchup, and I can't say that Patrick's going to win his.
They're only on one of the teams that each player has.
Yep. That's what I like about this format. Yeah.
I'm really pushing for Chris, even though
I'm not even in it.
No, I'm talking about
the real Chris.
Oh, my apologies.
The good Chris. Because he's kind of stacked. I mean, Shadow's got Madam Mask on one team and Wonder Woman on the other, which pretty much stops what Chris's Morph team is all about.
If he plays him against, I don't know. I think Morph might be.
Stops both of his teams actually, because Villain Control and Morph are both heavily reliant on wind field effects.
He's got Owlman though.
Yeah.
Owlman turns into a big win con pretty fast if you don't keep up with it. And I think the Hela might be too fast for, I think, his Morph team. But I think his Villain Control team, if he plays it right, it's not too fast for that.
Well, he would have to get Blob out first. Like that would be his go-to right there.
I mean, he's got to sell us to get his control out. Yeah.
So he would go get Blob out as soon as possible, and then follow up with Shriek or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And go from there. Or no, he has Madam Mask.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be stacked, and I'm just I'll definitely tune in for that one, just to see what Chris is capable of.
You'll be commenting on that one most likely.
I probably will. I'm gonna love every minute of it.
Yeah.
Is everybody that's in the top 8, are they U.S. or there's one that's not U.S., right?
James is it? Well, I mean the Canadians.
The Canadians.
Yeah,
pretty much USA. So.
Half the people are from Texas and half the people are from Canada. Or half are from Canada and Texas. Everyone else is everywhere else. So Texas is quite represented well.
Nice.
We also had the most people outside of the top 8.
Well, there's also that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering for scheduling purposes, so we can all be available to do commenting and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that I promised last week was a bigger push on coverage and tightening our ability to cover, especially with the top 8 and top 4 and then finals.
Yeah. I think there's a few matches that are scheduled for Saturday. One's at like 9 o'clock our time, Central Standard Time. I don't.
AM?
No, PM, sir.
Oh, okay.
Let me go to that event.
Yeah, you got 'em.
Yeah, let me go to the event page. Oh,
Zach
crap.
just needs to beat James to prevent. Yes. Thanks for having everybody's best interest at heart there, Matt. That's great. That's real solid.
Yeah,
I'm sure thinks very fondly of you.
Zach, if you could go ahead and do that,
That'd be great.
that'd be great.
And then you drank from a cup just like him.
Yeah, that's part of what I did. Oh man, I didn't put. I got to create the event for top 8. I'm an idiot.
Oh my god, you are such a failure.
I know. I always am. Yeah, I know. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's a good. All right.
So Ben,
Hello.
what are your favorite matchups here?
No, I feel like it's gonna be pretty close. I feel like after your wisdom, James is gonna die horribly because he's very beatable. No, I feel like it's difficult to know. Someone has to come up with a way to stop that Gold Dragon Ring Winter, and someone has to come up with a way to stop the Hela.
Mm-hmm.
It's
If they can do that,
some teams can
then-
do it, some teams can't.
But what teams can do it? Like that's my kind of. There's no kind of there. I mean, there are cards that stop them, but there are none that are prevalent in the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, no one was really prepared exactly for that combination.
I guess the thing is, Switch stops both of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a switch that would need to be out turn 2 or 3 because Ring of Winter is going to get purchased turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm creating the event. Sorry, guys, I was quiet because I'm trying to create the event like a jerk.
Oh, we're okay with you being quiet.
I know.
I don't know.
The-
Everyone here is a pretty good player. Everyone left in, so
Yeah, it's just like you said, those teams bring something that none of the other teams bring, and that's something to attack the meta.
Well, I mean, this is a different meta than the actual like post-June 1st meta in some ways.
oh, it is because it's a 2-team takedown, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have to spread your power cards over 2 teams. So you don't have
Everybody
power
tried
control.
to do that, whereas those 2 teams, the Hela and the Dragons team, instead of doing that, they said, okay, well, we're gonna try a completely different approach. Instead of trying to even balance out our 2 teams to where you have okay teams versus like one good and one bad, they were like, well, I'm gonna make this really different team.
Well, I don't think James did that. James, I think, just got super lucky with Gold Dragon Ring Winter. I think he'll say that himself. Like he was just like, I'm putting Ring Winter on so I can fix it. That's pretty good.
It's
And
actually
I have a spare slot,
that
and
sounds
then-
exactly like something he would say too.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he did. Because I played him round 1, and the first game I beat him because he was going for his fix it, and then the game against it again, he bought. Is that right?
Are you taking credit for him playing so well?
No, I'm not. But he switched to Gold Dragon, and Gold Dragon killed me.
Yeah. You are taking credit for it. Okay. He was playing completely wrong before he played me. I set him straight.
And since then,
He's undefeated.
Dropped a game.
He's dropped 3 games. One of them versus.
Well, I'm sorry, match.
Yeah, he hasn't
he
dropped a match
yeah.
because he lost to Ben in a
Yeah.
game. He lost to Zach, and he
Yeah,
lost
and
to Shadow.
Patrick.
Yeah. Everyone else he's 2-0'd. That match between him and Steven was just Gold Dragon was just stupid. It was just
Did they
so
last
stupid.
longer than 30 minutes though? Or do I still have the fastest match?
I think you still have the fastest match. Like yours was like 22 minutes.
So do we need to call you Minuteman now?
Which one?
The Minuteman.
Man?
Minute
Yeah, do we
Man?
need to start calling you that now?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, the semis set up. Do we know who's playing who in the semis?
Yeah.
It's ranked, right? So
Yeah.
Stephen, James, and Patrick can't meet until the final.
That's yeah.
Or
So
James can't meet Stephen or Patrick till the final.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it's gonna be probably Matt. I would say Matt and James. Have they played already? I don't think they have yet.
No one's played yet because I told them they couldn't
No,
play
I mean,
until Friday.
Final-wise, would they meet each other?
Oh.
So
I would like to
because-
see that team, that matchup.
Yeah,
Matt's Dragon versus James.
Yeah, I would love that too. So I think it would semi-finals would be like something like Matt and James, and then Shadow and
Matt is on the side with
Chris.
Patrick.
I mean Shadow, not Shadow and Laurier or Nick.
No. Laurier and Nick are on one side of the bracket with James and Zach. The other side of the bracket is Steven, Matt, Patrick, Chris Club.
So it would need to be.
So four that are only going to be playing each other is James, Zach, Laurier, and Nick.
So
The-
you do predictions.
Predictions for overall winner?
Yeah, overall winner and semi-finalist.
Ooh,
It's going to be
I don't
kind of
know, I
rough.
haven't seen enough.
Yeah.
I haven't seen these guys play at all.
So overall, I would say it would be between Zach and or not Zach, James and Shadow. It would be between those two.
The only person I've seen play is probably Laurier, because he beat the crap out of me that one game. So
Yeah.
I hope Laurier wins the whole thing. That way I say I lost to the champ.
There you go.
How did that work for the Super Bowl for you? Saying that.
I didn't win the Super Bowl.
No, the Eagles winning it. You going with that thing still then? Well, if they beat us, since they beat us, I want them to win. Worst thing
I didn't want the
ever.
Patriots to win either.
I wanted a meteor to hit the stadium.
Well, jeez. All right. Well, so final thoughts. I think actually Matt and Shadow in the finals. That's my vote.
Matt and Shadow. Okay,
That
interesting.
can't happen.
That
Yeah.
can't happen.
No, they would meet in the semifinals.
Well, I mean, good. Then I'm looking forward to that more than I'm looking final match.
So that means Matt would have to beat Steven DM Armada,
Mhm.
and Patrick has to beat Christopher Clubb. I think Matt and Steven's match is going to come down to matchups. Patrick's match, when he lost to James, that was a surprising thing because he just couldn't get his rolls in the time that he needed them to, and James really just got everything. Not saying that James got lucky, but he played really well. And Shadow missed out on a Bishop and a Hela on the turn that he needed it to come out, and that's why he lost. Kind of what I'm thinking in the finals. I'm thinking James and Matt.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It may be the kiss of death. But
I'm voting for that too. As
I
long as I get to see Matt and Patrick meet in the semifinals, I'm happy.
yeah, I think Patrick is probably gonna get the finals, but Matt's super cool. Patrick's super cool. I really hate just going for anyone in particular because everyone's been so cool to me personally on a personal level. So it's like it's hard to just pick one person or two people, but I like the matchups for those two, and I think they could do well.
All right, Robert, what's your pick?
I didn't really have a lot of experience watching these guys, but I'm gonna have to probably say big guys, James and Shadow Meld.
Okay. And then Ben.
I went for a bit of an underdog. I think Ben is going to make the final and take it as a surprise result.
So Ben wins by default.
Just a surprise, totally out of nowhere.
So that way you can say
Underdog story.
2018 two-team takedown spring champion.
I might go Laurier Patrick final.
Okay.
Oh, I like that pick too.
I don't think anything's going to be a bad choice on that, honestly. I could see everyone making it to the finals, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to sign off on that note.
All right, man.
Cool.
And next week, everybody, we got some announcements, most likely. Most likely. So be tuned in for then. We'll be talking about the top 4 at that point, and we'll be talking about some things that we have in the works that we can most likely announce and talk about for realsies. And Ben's been working with us a little bit on this too. Don't get the deer in headlights look, Ben. So, yeah, be sure to tune in next week. We'll be talking about more things to do with Dice Masters, the channel, and our online community as a whole, and the top 4. Top 4 is going to be top thing that we talk about, but we'll be talking about the online community a lot too. So, anything to
thanks
add?
guys for running the tournament and everything you guys have done so far. It's been awesome.
Thank you, man.
Oh,
For
thanks.
hanging out, being a big
Yeah.
part of it. Thanks
Anytime.
to everybody that actually joined the tournament and stuck around.
Yeah.
Put up with us, and yeah, we get it. And it's been really fun getting to know everybody, even though I haven't been around as much as I would like. Just the people that I've met and talked to, listened to them talk, they all seem like really great people, and I'm really having a good time with this thing, even though it may not seem like it sometimes. I am.
Yeah, I mean, everyone needs to give themselves a congratulation because the tournaments run smooth because everyone's been super chill, super cool, and everything. Even in
all the games have been really good. Even if you're like us and didn't make the top 8, like still pretty competitive.
Yeah,
right down to the wire.
So if
and fun.
Yeah, this has been super fun, even though I've done terrible in it. I've had the worst play in the tournament. Yep. I've also had the most fun that I've had probably playing Dice Master. So, all right, be sure to like, subscribe, have fun, and see you guys next week.